Good afternoon, everyone. This is what a recorded lecture of classical mechanics. So we have seen up to now the Hamilton's principle, and we have covered our third chapter also. Okay. Now we are going to start with the fourth chapter. The name of the chapter is Kinematics of the Rigid Body. Okay. It is again related to physics. No doubt I told you that this whole paper is related to physics. So in this paper we are going to see what is kinematics of the rigid body. So that what will be a rigid body? I will define first that. Okay, what is the name of a topic is? This is the last topic of our classical mechanics, kinematics of a rigid body. Okay, we are going to see now this. First of all, I will define what is a rigid body. Okay, rigid body is regarded as a system of many particles. That means a rigid body can be considered or regarded as system of many, that means at least three particles. Instead of saying many particles, we can say at least three non-collinear particles. Now everyone know about what is a non-collinear particles. In the rigid body, we should have at least three non-collinear particles whose position related to one another is fixed. Whose position to one another is fixed. One another is fixed. Okay. The position of every particle is fixed in the rigid body or constant throughout the motion. Now, one may consider that suppose if you are sitting on a bench, so if you want to move that bench, that after moving that bench completely to some another place, you can see that there will not be any internal disturbance. The whole body is projected or it is displaced to some another position, but there is no internal changes. Suppose you are having any 2 points on that. Say if it is a table, so we can consider one table in which this table, if I am going to move to some another position, so the difference or the distance between these two particles will be same after moving to some another position. Okay. So in the very similar way, you can consider the rigid body as a system of at least three particles in which distance between every particle is fixed out. After a motion also the difference distance between the particle is going to be fixed. Okay. Just like yourself. Okay. If you are walking somewhere, says from position A to B, if you are going from say position A to B, okay, the distance between your legs and hand will remain as it is after moving to some another position. That is called a rigid body. But we can say that the distance between the suppose your head, a case, sir, the nose difference between the nose and your eyes, it will be as it is constant after moving to some another position. That is called a rigid body. Okay, a system of at least three particles in which we can say the different distance between these particles is as it is constant. Okay. Now we can consider internal forces holding the particle. fixed distances are known as forces of constraint. Now, why this distance between the two particles in the rigid body remains fixed due to the internal forces. I hope you have covered this internal forces in our classical mechanics first unit. In that, I have shown you what is internal and external forces. We have found the forces as Fi is equals to Fie plus Fji internal, which is nothing but the force acting on ith particle due to presence of j particle and all. So, due to internal forces itself, they are holding each other. Okay, that means we can say due to internal forces, so the particles having the same distance, or we can say they are holding each other with the fixed distances. Okay, so these forces of these are called the whatever the internal forces it is acting, so that the position between the particle remain fixed. These type of a forces or this type of a consideration we call it is a constraints. Now you have already studied what is a constraint. It is nothing but geometrical restriction on the motion of a particle. Here also we can have a geometrical restriction. What is a geometrical restriction? Distance between any particle is fixed out in a rigid body. At least if you are going to consider three particle, distance between every particle is fixed out. That is nothing but your geometrical restriction. These forces of constraints obey the Newton's third law. Okay, but as I told you, the internal forces, we have written this Fji internal is equals to minus of Fij internal. Force acting on jth particle due to ith particle is exactly equal and opposite to force acting on ith particle due to the presence of jth particle. That is nothing but the Newton's third law of motion. Okay. What is Newton's third law of motion? To every action there is equal and opposite reaction. The forces of constraints, these forces of constraint obey the Newton's law. What are those forces of constraint? These are internal forces. These are going to hold the distance between the two particles will be fixed out during the motion and anywhere. That is called a rigid body. Okay. So what we have studied initially, we have seen what is a rigid body. It is consisting of a system of at least three non-collinear particles whose position relative to one another remain fixed or constant. Okay, the internal forces holding the particle fixed. So what we say, internal forces holding the particle to the fixed distances. The distance between every particle is fixed out. That is called a constraint. And what are constraints? These are limitations or geometric restriction. These are nothing but your geometric restriction. No, for rigid body, we can consider at least three particle different distance between every particle is fixed out. And what is your consideration? That these constraints are going to obey the Newton's third law of motion. That is. Force acting on jth particle due to presence of ith particle is exactly equal and opposite to force acting on ith particle due to the presence of jth particle. Okay. Now let us see what are the generalized coordinate. Now we'll see generalized coordinate and degrees of freedom for our rigid body. That in our first chapter, what is generalized coordinate? The many example we have solved related to generalized coordinate and degrees of freedom. Okay, generalized coordinate and degrees of freedom. Okay, in general, we can consider a rigid body consisting of rigid body may be consisting of say n particles instead of having at least three particles. Because what is a consideration? We have at least three particles instead of having at least three. We can consider. Let us assume that we have n particles which are free from constraints. Okay, we are not having any restriction on these n particles. Just like the last one, we are having the restriction. We are not having any restriction on these n particle. And how many generalized coordinate we will require? It will be 3n because whatever we are discussing is on the 3D space. So if we are discussing on a 3D space, we have n particles. So the total number of generalized coordinate we can say it is 3n because we are saying there is no constraint. If there is no constraint, if there is no limitation, though no geometric restriction, then we can say that it has 3n generalized coordinate. 3n generalized coordinate will describe the motion. But in case of a rigid body which have a constraint, okay, first we have seen the case in which no constraint, then there is no geometric restriction, no limitations are there. So for the rigid body consisting of n particle, we can have 3n number of generalized coordinate. What is second consideration? But in case of a rigid body which involves a constraint, that means what will be the constraint or limitation? It is Rij is equals to Aij, which means that the difference between ith and distance between ith and jth particle is fixed out. That is some number A. Okay, here we can say that I is not equal to j, and I and j both are running for 1, 2 up to so on n. Okay, so for n number of particle, let us assume that there are system of n particle, and out of those system of n particle, distance between any two particle is fixed out. Okay, that is distance between I and j particle is fixed out, and hence now we are having the restriction, the metric restriction on the motion of a particle. That means what is the restriction on this? Is we can say what is the restriction? Distance between ith and jth particle of the rigid body is fixed out. That is some constant Aij. So possible number of constraint. Now I can say the distance between the two particle is fixed out. Out of n particle, we have difference between or distance between the two distance between the two particle is fixed out. That is we can say nc2. So possible number of constraint. So we can say this is what a formula for number of constraints. The number of constraint, the number of geometric restriction on the motion of particle is given by. Now what is the formula for combination is n factorial divided by 2 factorial into n minus 2 factorial. Okay. So which will be equal to n into n minus 1 factorial I can write. I know, I think everyone is knowing about the formula for the factorial. 2 factorial will be simply 2 n. So let me write down one more. It is n minus 2 factorial. So here it will be again n minus 2 factorial. So these two will get cancelled. I mean, NV remains with that number of constraint for a system of n particle on the consideration that we have a restriction. What is the restriction? Distance between the two particle ith and j particle. I and j may be there any number, because I and j are allowed to take any number. On the consideration, I should not be equal to j. Okay, so number of constraints given possible number of constraint. That means simply we can say it is possible number of constraint given in equation 1. That means this is what our equation 1. From equation 1 we can have possible number of constraints is n into n minus 1 divided by 2. Okay. Now the number of constraint cannot be always subtracted from 3n, because up to now in the first chapter we have seen the generalized coordinate minus the number of constraint we are going to have, or in another way we can have Cartesian coordinate minus number of constraint, and then we can say it is generalized coordinate. But the number of constraint cannot be always subtracted from 3n to get the degrees of freedom. Okay, it is always not possible to find out the degrees of this method. Thus, to find out the degrees of freedom in case of a rigid body, the rigid body can be consisting of only three particle. Let us assume that the rigid body is consisting of a three particle. Then number of constraints are given by n into n minus 1 divided by 2. That is 3 into 3 minus 1 divided by 2. That will be 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 get cancelled. 3. So we get the, which is now 3n minus 3 now. So we can get it is 3n is 3 into 3 minus 3, that will be equal to 9 minus 3. So we can get 6. So which is nothing but generalized coordinate. Now every time we cannot do this calculation, but if you are going to have a general formula, we can say it is 3n minus n into n minus 1 divided by 2, and after putting the value of n you can get the answer. But for consideration, we have considered that the rigid body consisting of only three particle, and we have found that for rigid body consisting of three particle we need a 6 generalized coordinate will be there. Okay. So what we have seen the definition of generalized coordinate. We have seen what is a constraint, what is the internal forces. These all things we have already studied in the first chapter, and then we have seen the generalized coordinate and degrees of freedom, how it is calculated. So what is the consideration? We have considered a system of n particle firstly, and how many generalized coordinate required if we are not having any restriction is 3n. In the second case, if there is restriction of equation 1, that is distance between ith and jth particle is fixed out, then we can say the number of constraints are given by distance between the two particles is fixed out. Hence, we can say and that number of constraints are given by the formula NC2, the combination formula, and hence we can get the result. Okay. To establish the position of one reference point. Now let us see how to establish the position. Okay, to establish the position of one reference point, suppose we have this rigid body. In that we are going to consider only three particles. Instead of considering many particles, we have considered only three particles. So we have only these three particles. For that, instead of having these three particles, first we are going to fix out the position of first particle. To fix out the position of first particle in 3D space, what we need is x, y, z. These three coordinate I will require. That means three generalized coordinate are required to describe the position of this particle for first one. Okay. So up to this it is okay. Now, if I want to fix the position of another particle, okay, so fixing the position of another particle, there is a restriction. What is the restriction? It has some specified distance from the first particle. Say this is say position particle with 1, particle 2, and this is particle 3. Right. So we have fixed out the first particle. So we have only three generalized coordinate for the first particle if we are discussing this on a 3D space. So on the next, if you are going to fix out the position of second particle, so this distance is fixed out because we have fixed out the first particle. So for second particle, we need only two coordinates. Okay. First we need three coordinates, then we need two coordinates. Now if I want to specify the position of third particle, for specifying the position of third particle, first two positions are already fixed out. The position of third particle from second and position of third particle from the first is already fixed out. And hence we required only one generalized coordinate to describe the position of third particle. So in all, we can say we require total 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is 6 generalized coordinate are required to describe the or we can say 6 coordinates are sufficient to specify the position of a any three particle in the rigid body. Thus, the position of each further particle requires three particle, three coordinate. But out of these three coordinate, three equation of constraint represent. That means if you are going to specify the position next particle, again these three positions are already fixed out. आता तुमच्याकडे हे कुठे आहे आपण 3D space ना, so it will also require again three coordinate, but these three distances are already fixed out. So we can say for the rigid body we require at least 6 coordinates are sufficient to describe the position of a particle. Or in another way, we can say, but there are three equations of a constraint. What are these three equations of constraint? These three positions are fixed one because the distance of point, say we can say new point say S is distance of this new point S from P1, P2, P3 is already fixed on. Okay, so totally S requires the three coordinate, but out of these three coordinate, we are going to subtract three. Why we are going to subtract three? Because the position of particle S from P1, P2, P3 is fixed out. Okay, if position of S from P1, P2, P3 is fixed out, we can say this is a restriction. Number of restriction we are going to subtract from the Cartesian coordinate, and hence we get the zero generalized coordinate or 0 degrees of freedom we need. Okay, it means that any other particle other than P1, P2, P3 will require will not be affecting your degrees of freedom in the rigid body. Because if you take any more particle, if you take say another particle, say A, the position of A with respect to P1, P2, P3 is already fixed out. How many coordinates required for particle A? Again 3. And but already three restrictions are there, so only we get a 0 degrees of freedom. So if you are having three particle or more than three particle, so for rigid body we need only 6 generalized coordinate. तुम्ही पुढच्या कुठलाही पार्टिकल ऍड केलं, किती 100 200 किती पार्टिकल ऍड केलं तर त्याचा इफेक्ट जनरलाइज कोऑर्डिनेटवर होणार नाही. डिग्रीज ऑफ फ्रीडम तुमचा काय असणार आहे, 6च असणार आहे. Why? Because we have already fixed out the position of P1, P2, P3. Okay, if you are going to have a next particle, so position of next particle with earlier one is already fixed out. Hence, first coordinate require 3, 2, and 1. If I hope you are understood this. Position of P1 we have fixed out. Then to fix the position of P2, we have already established that the position of P2 should be this much difference or this much distance from P1. Position of for P3, we specify already that the P3 should have distance of P2 from this much distance from P2, and P3 have this much distance from P1. Hence, we require 3 plus 2 plus 1, total 6 generalized coordinate. So, if you are increasing number of coordinate, no doubt it will not affect the degrees of freedom. The degrees of freedom will remain as it is, that is 6. Okay, that means we can say now once the position of three particles of the rigid body are fixed out, the constraint fix the position of all the remaining particles. So if you are going to fix the position of three particle, we don't need to fix the position of next particle. Thus, the configuration of rigid body is completely described. That means a rigid body can be completely described by only three particles. Okay. So from all these discussion, we can say that the configuration of the rigid body is completely described by only three particles and only 6 generalized coordinate. Because if you increase the number of coordinate, no doubt there is no effect on the degrees of freedom. How this is so? Because if you are going to fix the position A, the position of A with P1, P2, P3 is already fixed. The number of coordinates minus the number of give you 0 degrees of freedom. So if you increase the number of coordinates, there is no effect on the degrees of freedom. Okay. Now we will see the motion of rigid body. Actually, we are going to see the motion of rigid body as translation. First one we'll see translation, and the second we'll see is rotation. Translation and rotation, two types of a motion we are going to see. There are two types of a motion in case of a rigid body, that is translation and rotation. When will be a translation and rotation, that we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.